All right, so we're going to go ahead. One of our previous videos, we made creme brulee. So we're going to go ahead and garnish it today. So what I want to start with is making, we're going to make a tuile leaf. So I've cut out a pattern for that. But we're going to make the batter right here. So it's a creaming method. Pretty simple. We have 4 ingredients: sugar, butter, pastry flour, and egg whites. And they call this a stencil cookie because you have to spread it. You'll put it on a stencil, spread it out, and then bake it. So let's go ahead and make it. It'll be a very simple recipe. It's creaming method, so we've got butter and sugar. And we're going to cream that till it's smooth. It's such a small batch that we don't want to put it on the mixer to all be stuck right in the paddle. So we just have to be patient, take a few minutes to get this to mix together. Okay. So that's nice and smooth now. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of egg white in there. And these are equal quantities of all the ingredients, so it's a lot of egg white to blend into this amount of butter and sugar. So therefore, we'll alternate them. In the end, we'll alternate the flour and the egg whites if we have to. It's quite warm in here today, so I think I can get this to blend together pretty good. Okay, so at this point, I've got my sifted flour. I'm going to go ahead and start alternating it. But we want to be careful now that we don't overmix it. Okay, I'm going to just add a little bit more so that'll come together here into a paste. Okay, so we've got a smooth paste, so now I can add a little bit more egg whites. And now we'll put a little bit of flour in it. And do make sure you sift your flour, otherwise you'll have a lot of lumps in there. Okay, we've got the remaining flour in there now. We're just going to mix it until it's combined. Okay, so that's our tuile paste. Okay, so we're back. We've got our tuile batter right here, and we're going to go ahead and put a drop of food coloring in it. We're going to make it a leaf shape today, so we're going to give it a little bit of color. That's a lot of color. So the reason I put it on the side of the bowl is just in case something like that happens. So I'm just going to pull a little tiny bit of that color and mix it in the paste. This reminds me of when I used to oil paint, you know, mixing the colors right there in the paint on the palette, or sometimes even on the canvas. Okay, so I want to keep it a nice light green like that. So I'm going to stop right there, and we're going to go ahead, and I've got the stencil made here. I just took, in the bake shop we have some boxes, cake boxes. It's a really nice thickness for the stencil, so I just cut one out of the box. So we're going to go ahead and put some of the batter on there. And then just pull it smooth across. It's okay if you have some areas that's not perfectly flat, because it'll look even more lifelike, because it'll brown at different rates. Now, if your sheet pan isn't flat enough, you can take the silpat, put it right on the flat table, make your stencils, and then lift it up onto the sheet pan. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put these in the oven, and then we'll be back in a few minutes, and we'll go ahead and shape them, and then we're going to put together the creme brulee. All right, so here are the Tuile cookies that we made earlier. We've got to move very fast while they're hot, because we want to give them a little shape. They'll look a little more lifelike, so you've got to get it while they're very hot out of the oven. Okay, and they'll just take a couple of minutes to cool. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we previously made some creme brulee, and we're going to go ahead and finish them. They've been chilling overnight, so we're going to put granulated sugar on, burn it with a torch, and then we'll garnish it with the Tuile cookies we made. We had just taken them out of the oven, and they hardened up within, less than a minute. They're hard and ready to go. So we've got everything we need right here. So we'll go ahead and burn these. So I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle the sugar on top. As you can see, it's very humid. I just put the sugar in here, and it absorbed moisture already. So we've got we're going to get it nice and even around the creme brulee. Yeah, we'll start with this one. We've got a lot of moisture in the air, so let's see how that goes. And I've got another one if this one doesn't burn nicely. So we've got our torch. I'm going to just start off with the flame down a little bit so it doesn't blow the sugar right off of the creme brulee. And I'm just going to come in very light and start to heat up the sugar. And we want to get it really dark. You want to get a nice dark caramel and a hard crust on it. So you can see that sugar dissolving and starting to caramelize. We're going to get it a little bit more. Okay. So as that's cooling right there, we'll go ahead and we could actually use that hot caramel to set our Tuile garnish on it. And that'll set hard right in the caramel. And then we've got a little bit of whipped cream. We're just going to put a little dollop of it there. And then we've got some fresh blueberries. We can just have those spilling out. And then we've got just a little touch of powdered raspberry. Just going to put that on there for a little color. And that's our creme brulee. Now with a creme brulee, it should have a nice hard crust. And you can see that when I hit it with the spatula, it's a good hard crust of caramel on top.